test on one day. India, England, Australia. What a play!
Welcome back, everybody, to Waadaplaya Cricket Show. We have Concussion Sub Santosh with us today. Special guest today on our episode, female cricket founder. I'm female cricket founder Vishal Yadav, who's been doing tremendous amount of work on promoting women's cricket. Welcome to our show, Vishal.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you
Excellent.
for the introduction.
Yeah, it's great to have you on board.
Vishal, we just wanted to know what led you to this formation of this female cricket academy. Can you provide some insights on that?
Okay, so there are two things, one is female cricket and the other one is female cricket academy. These are two different things. I'll quickly tell you what led me to start female cricket and then we can move on to the academy side of the business. So one is that I started female cricket, this website in 2016. The idea was to build one platform where we could have anything and everything which is happening around women's cricket. So it could be matches, it could be just random scores, could be facts, trivia's, interesting stuff that is happening in and around women's cricket, not just at the domestic but also at the global level. Now, what led to this idea was that back in 2013-14 is when I was reading and researching a lot about cricket, and I happened to interview and meet a lot of cricketers through Facebook and through Twitter. Started interacting with them. It was more like a casual chat which was happening. Then I got to hear a lot of their cricketing stories, and they were fascinating. They were like super powerful. I, being a cricket fan myself, I had played basic competitive cricket back in Mumbai, so I knew the nuances of the game, and I started interacting with them. How are they playing cricket in their respective countries? They would tell me that it is only on the weekends that they manage to sort of play cricket, and majority of these people that I was interacting were expats. They were Asians, they were Indians who had traveled to these countries: Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, countries in Europe like Romania, Finland, Sweden. They would tell me that it is only on the weekends that they get time. The climatic conditions isn't very favorable to cricket in these countries, so they would hardly get 1 or 2 months of climate where they can actually go down and play cricket. Otherwise, it is either snowing or either it is raining in these countries. They were finding their ways to cricket, interacting and bringing the communities together through this particular sport. And then I also happened to read this one particular article. I don't remember the website it was, but it talked about how cricket is changing a lot of communities and enabling a lot of communities in Africa. So basically, cricket was used as a tool to spread awareness around a lot of societal issues and societal challenges. Early marriage, around unprotected sex, around AIDS, which was very rampant in Africa at one point. Societal taboos were sort of handled and awareness was being created in Africa. And I realized that it is not just a sport, but there's so much that this particular sport can do apart from just being as a source of inspiration, a source of an encouragement and entertainment. It can also lead to a lot of healthy practices and healthy activities being conducted in a community. And that particular idea led to one thing to the another, and I was thinking to myself, there has to be a portal where I could get a lot of these interactive stories on one particular platform. And I happened to interview a lot of these female cricketers from these countries. That was when it struck me that where will I find more such stories tomorrow if I want to. I did not find any one single platform which was giving exclusive coverage to female cricketers and their journey, and that led to female cricket. Luckily, the domain was also available. We booked it the other day and got the website set up, done, got social media handles ready for female cricket, and that's how it all began. Very slow, very non-technical process is how we sort of got going with this idea.
That's really great, Vishal. It's a very good vision that you have. Wanted to know what are the difficulties or the hurdles that you came across while starting this journey?
Well, a lot. Because when I was starting, this was more like a side project, or this was more like a passion project. I was also working, I was also employed somewhere else. It was more like a corporate 9 to 5 thing for me. So the initial challenge was managing both the things together, because I had a job to look after, and the timings there's no set timings in a corporate culture. I mean, I started with being in a software company where my role was more into customer handling, client handling, and then later on moved to the account management side. So again, the timings were fixed, but again, it never looked fixed. You would get a call at 8 p.m. in the evening, and the clients would ask you that why so and so particular thing is not implemented, and then you go back to your technical team, get things done. The initial challenge was managing both the things together. The other challenge was because I was a single person, there was no sort of team together. Challenge was to put everything and to do everything alone, writing articles, publishing it on the website, to making social media posts and then scheduling it on the respective social media handles. So Facebook, Instagram is how when we start. How is this how we started, and later on pivoted into YouTube and Twitter. So yeah, so those were the initial hurdles. Apart from that, the matches, the women's cricket matches were not being televised. Another huge challenge back in 14, 15 and 16 also, early 16, the matches were not televised. So it was very difficult to actually recognize female cricketers, to know them personally and to know their cricket stories out. Gradually, when they started performing well, Star Sports and BCCI also started broadcasting the matches. Luckily now we get to actually watch all the games. All the home games are actually televised on Star Sports. Apart from the domestic matches also being televised now. So a lot has changed, but definitely the challenges are manifold and in different aspects. Again, I can go on and on with the challenges, but I think that would be a huge, a very lengthy podcast. We'll keep it very short.
Thanks, Vishal. Just slightly shifting the gears. When you started this journey, how was the initial response of the viewers? Because in India, if you go back 15, 20 years, mindset of people were a little orthodox. So, what was the challenge, and when did you feel that the mindset got changed, or the transition was happening towards like accepting women's cricket as one of these?
I was reading and researching. This was during 2015. There was Men's World Cup happening in Australia. 2015, 2016, there was Women's World Cup, T20 World Cup happened in India, which eventually West Indies, women went out and they defeated Australia for the very first time and they won their maiden T20 World Cup title. So we launched this platform. We launched female cricket on 6th of Feb 2016. The idea for launching it on this particular date and this particular month was because we knew that there's a T20 World Cup approaching in a month's time. So this T20 World Cup 2016 was scheduled to happen from March onwards. So we knew that we would get that initial boost. We knew what we wanted to do. The plans were ready. We knew that these were the articles we want to push out. We knew that the matches are happening, so they would be televised because it is happening in India. It's a World Cup tournament, so there would be people who would be wanting the scores at least, if not the entire highlights of the match, but they would want to know who won the matches. So the idea was set. The initial reaction or the initial response was very good, I would say, because knew that so and so happening, so we were better prepared. It was in India, so there was added boost because we were catering to Indian audience. We were trying to attract a lot of Indian audience through our social media handles. So the response initially was very good. I think within 2 months' time, by the end of the tournament, we had close to 5,000 plus followers, likes on our Facebook page, and roughly 1,000 plus people on our Instagram. And this used to be one of the milestones which we had when we began. That we want to hit 1,000 here and couple of thousands in on Facebook. So these used to be the basic milestones, and cross that we did celebrate it. It was a very small celebration, but we knew that we are onto something. We are onto something good. People were giving us the required responses. The transition, to coming back to your second question, when the transition happened and this overall perception towards women's cricket changed, I think it was in 2017 when the Indian women's team reached the finals at the Lords. They were playing against England. 25,000 plus people at Lords watching these girls live. Popularity that this particular team gained in India because all the matches were televised. Social media was buzzing with news. Portals and the publications were giving them lovely coverages. So I think a lot of these factors helped in shaping women's cricket forward. And luckily for us, because we were already 1 year into female cricket, so that also helped us because this particular tournament because the popularity was growing. People then sort of started searching, and the female cricket would be the first platform that came up on the search results. 2017 was when entire like everything, the perception, the acceptance, the love for women's cricket in India, it changed dramatically.
That is excellent journey, Vishal. Just a couple of leading questions.
Sure.
You spoke about your challenges in forming female cricket, but
Yeah.
what about support structure from crowd as well? Naturally, people are attracted, or naturally, people think men's cricket is the number one thing which comes on their mind. So, have you seen pushback, or do you have stories where people were not bought into your concept? Any such instances like that?
Again, I was reading and researching, and I found out that in 70s, 80s, and 90s, there used to be what 10,000, 15,000 plus people going at the stadium and watching women's games live. There was this World Cup which happened in India in '97. Close to 60,000 plus people who went at the stadium, Eden Gardens, and close to 60,000 plus people went to the stadium and they watched this match live. There's another incidence of '97 World Cup. The final was held at again Eden's, and I was talking to Julan ma'am for one of our podcasts, and she told me that it was a packed stadium. It is not that there was no appetite for women's cricket in India. There was, but what happened was the men's cricket it overtook everything. The recognition that it got and the way the likes of Sachin Tendulkar, MS Dhoni became household names, they sort of I think overtook the popularity of women's cricket, and it just disappeared from 2000 onwards. The women's cricket team they reached the finals of the World Cup in 2005. This tournament happened in South Africa. There was no coverage. There was no media. The television did not do justice to the coverage. Couple of news anchors, couple of media publications. I think they were the ones who sort of brought this thing into limelight. And the same thing, which after 12 years, when the women's team reached the finals again, there was social media, there was newspapers, there were publications. It was on TV. The Prime Minister was tweeting about this particular tournament. That has changed. The acceptance level has now changed. Whenever there are matches held in a respective city, whether it is in Vadodara or whether it is in Surat, there are crowds in thousands who come and they want to watch women's play live cricket. There was one tournament in 2019 in Surat. The capacity of I think of this particular stadium, Lalbhai Contractor Stadium, is only 7,000 or 10,000, but there were close to 20,000 plus people at the stadium to watch this particular game. It was India versus South Africa happening in Surat. 2019 in the Women's T20 Challenge, which is also called the Women's IPL, the finals were held at Jaipur Savai Mansingh Stadium. I was there at the stadium, and I think they were anticipating that only 10,000 plus people would turn up, but there were close to 20,000 or 25,000 plus people who went. They were at the stadium to watch the finals. So they had to open all the gates so as to accommodate people. So it is not that there is a lack of appetite. There is definitely a lot of love and passion and acceptance for women's cricket now. And I think media has played a huge role in bringing that, in sort of creating that in hype or highlights about women's cricket. And a lot of credit, of course, to BCCI promote it and to give it the recognition that it deserves. With matches now being on television, it has changed the way people look at women's cricket.
Infrastructure wise, compared to New Zealand, Australia, England, where do you see women's cricket in India, especially the domestic cricket structure? Because we have seen in the past 4 months, we heard about Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy, we heard about Vijay Hazare Trophy.
Right.
So, give our viewers insight about how the infrastructure and domestic cricket structure of women's cricket and what your role is going to be in the next 5 years, maybe.
The current structure, if I had to talk about, I think that is one area which needs a lot of improvement. We definitely have close to 36, 37 teams playing domestic level tournaments, playing domestic tournaments that the BCCI conducts. Due to COVID, due to the unfortunate situations that we all are in, there was only one tournament which was scheduled for girls this year, which was the Senior One Day Trophy. And today was the final of this particular tournament, and Railways, one of the strongest sides in the domestic team, they won it. Apart from that, we did not hear or we did not see any other tournament happening. So definitely there's a huge scope when it comes to having better infrastructure and more better matches for the girls. That is one area I think BCCI is definitely aware of it. And with the fans now being very vocal through social media, I'm sure the message is being conveyed to the people in power who are actual decision makers, that there is a huge appetite and people want to see the girls playing cricket, be it at the national level or be it at the domestic level. So infrastructure wise, we definitely have seen a huge rise, I would say. Not want to compare because that would not be giving a very justifying picture to the overall situation. But BCCI has done their level best. They are doing it whenever and wherever possible. We are definitely, the girls are playing at better grounds these days. They do have support staff. They have better support staff in place. There are qualified cricket coaches, qualified trainers, qualified physios in the ranks. Stadiums are now being rebuilt and there are like much better setups for them. I remember talking to the greats like Mithali, Rajulan Goswami, and time and again they have highlighted the fact that they would travel through unreserved trains. The journey would take them 2.5 days sometimes if they are traveling from south up to north. So that is the situation where how women's cricket have evolved to now. All the cricketers, I think they fly economy and they also get to stay in good hotels, 3 star, 5 star hotels. Back then there would be just one apartment and everybody, the entire team had to sort of adjust in one particular apartment along with their cricketing kit. Situations back then was very different and very difficult also. Things have definitely evolved. Women's cricket is now in a much better space and in a much better shape. A lot of credits to the BCCI as well.
From a coverage point of view, what do you think as viewers or social media enthusiasts can do? Because if you see the recently concluded New Zealand Australia women's cricket, the New Zealand men's team was playing, the women's team were playing together, and the coverage was more or less mirrored. Whereas if you
Right.
look at India England versus
Right.
South Africa and India, which
Hmm.
recently concluded,
Hmm.
though the schedule was overlapping,
Hmm.
I personally felt the women's cricket did not get enough momentum as India England series was getting. So, what can people on social media do? What's your advice? What support are you looking for to enhance the coverage?
Again, very valid question. Not just me. I think everyone who follows women's cricket religiously and who is a pure advocate of women's cricket understands that a lot can be done. I think there's a huge scope of improvement. Like you rightly pointed out, if you compare both the series, India South Africa and the India England, there was a huge gap. There was a huge opportunity where we could do better. As we move forward, as we progress, those are the things that would be tackled. There's nothing or there's not much that we as fans can do about it apart from tweeting about it, apart from raising our concerns. But I think the people in power, especially people who are at BCCI, the decision makers have to take all these points into consideration. There are enough voices now on social media, and with Twitter now, I think anybody and everybody has an opinion. All it takes is just 2 or 5 minutes to tweet out something to sort of Ganguly, to Jay Shah, who is the who's and who of BCCI. So I think I'm sure that they do read it, they do acknowledge it. It is only with the time we would know what all changes are being implemented. As fans, the best that we can do is watch women's cricket religiously and follow it. Let us not compare, give our opinions as to men's cricket is doing so much, women's cricket is not doing justice. I read a lot of tweets the other day where people started comparing the likes of Mithali Raj and Sachin Tendulkar. Because again, both are legends in their own right, but their journeys are very different. How Sachin Tendulkar was treated in 20s, in 2000s, how Mithali Raj was treated in 2000s is absolutely very different. The domestic structure for both men's and women's cricket is very different. The girls were playing their tournaments after almost 400 days or close to 13 months. Men's had the IPL going on, and then there were a couple of other series. They had a visit to Australia. They were playing England. Again, it is very difficult to draw a comparative analysis. So it is better that we leave that analytical part to the analyst, and we as fans let us celebrate and support the girls whenever and wherever possible. I think that is the best as fans we could do. That is exactly what we at female cricket do. Whenever possible, give them the coverage and the recognition that they deserve. And we have seen, how they have performed at the global level, at the international level. They were the finalists at the T20 World Cup, which happened in 2020 last year. They reached the finals in the 2017 World Cup. So I'm sure there is huge potential. They just need the backing and support of the fans. That is something I would urge all the people out here listening this podcast also. Please do that.
And we will support you in whatever shape and form. I think you are a greater cause. More than happy to help you in whatever shape and form. Are you interested and focused on your vision on Indian cricket only, or are you looking at global female cricket?
The objective from day one was never to promote or target only Indian women's cricket. It was always to celebrate and support, irrespective of the country, irrespective of the geography, to promote women's cricket around the world. And that is the reason why we have this section also on our website, which is called Around the World, where we have interviewed and interacted with a lot of players from countries which is other than India. We are also doing a story from Sweden. I'm sure it would be out in a day or two. How Sweden women's cricket is evolving, and how the measures that these cricket teams are taking to sort of to take their cricketing activities forward. We have interviewed players from Nepal, from Kuwait, from countries like Germany, Argentina, which is football freak, continent. From countries like USA, which is again something. It's an economy which is again evolving in the cricketing ecosphere. From Iran and Iraq, we also had the opportunity to interview cricketers from there. So the idea or the focus was never only on the Indian cricket. It would never be on the Indian women's cricket only. It's a global thing that we want to celebrate and continue going forward.
Viewers and coverage. So, do you still feel that IPL is still far-fetched idea or a platform where women's cricket can showcase their talent?
I think it's it's must. It's the need of the hour. Had I been in a position to take decisions, I would have started IPL right away. That's a very constant demand, which not just the fans but even great advocates of cricket, someone like Lisa Stalikar, Isa Goa, the commentators now and the former Australian cricketers and English cricketers have voiced their opinions. Time and again, even Mithali Raj, Julian Goswami have advocated that women's IPL is must, and it would definitely shape the overall women's cricket in the country. It would give a lot of opportunities to the domestic cricketers. It would lead to better talent pool that we have today, and it has done wonders to men's cricket. We all know, we all admit and agree, and I'm sure that it would do wonders to women's cricket as well, provided we start it. Provided we start a full-fledged women's IPL, there is a very strong appetite. I say that because during that women's T20 challenge, that's those 7 days, the response on a social media, the numbers, it just grows exponentially, 200%, 300%. People, the amount of reactions, the engagement that we get during that 7 day is a testament to the fact that people want to see more of Shefali Verma playing for, let's say, Punjab 11, or Smriti Mandana playing for Mumbai Indians, Julian Goswami playing for Kolkata Knight Riders. People want to see that, I can assure you. Maybe search for women's IPL on Twitter and just look at the amount of tweets that the fans have made in the last 1 month. In fact, in 15 days, soon after this India South Africa series got over, the constant demand was, we want to see a full fledged women's IPL. We don't want to just see the three teams in the women's T20 challenge. At least have one more team. Let us make it a 4 team IPL. Let us just have a full fledged IPL going. I do see that happening. Maybe in a year or two, that will definitely be a huge game changing moment whenever that happens.
More power to you. And listen, Vishal, this has been fantastic. Thanks for your time. Congratulations to you and your entire team. You guys have been doing fabulous job, and hopefully via this medium, we do our part in promoting female cricket. That's why we were ultra keen to have a chat with you, one, to learn about what your goal is and what your website is, and two, to look at how we can use our medium in various capacity we have in Waadaplaya to help you continue to propel. So congratulations. Thanks very much
Thank you.
for your time again. There's been insightful conversations, and I'm sure as the agenda evolves during the year, we will have you or some of your team members back on our show one more time.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Suman, for hosting me and interacting and knowing about female cricket. It is always pleasure talking about, you know, this is more like a baby to me, right? This entire platform that we have built. So thank you once again, Suman and Santosh.
Thank you.
Excellent. Yeah, Santosh, thanks again for your time. For folks who are watching, drop us a comment, give us a reaction of what you think about it. Go check out the website of Female Cricket, follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Until next time, and we find another guest, thank you very much and enjoy and stay safe. Thanks, Vishal. Thanks, Santosh.